Hey guys, Bix, we're roadtoruta.com. We have Will Lehrer of Perpetual Assets. We're going to talk about everything. This is going to be a two-part segment. Part one is the things we can talk about on YouTube. Part two is the things we can't talk about, but this is part one. Will, hello, how are you?
Hello, my friend. I'm well. I just realized I have I'm going to take the color off. Is that better? Yeah, a little
Oh, there
bit.
you go. Look at that. Yeah. Well, let's just dive right in. Usually we talk about perpetual assets at the end. I want to talk about perpetual assets right up front because people are scared shitless that they're going to lose their retirement money. They want to know if they can do it a different way, get their assets in their own possession type of thing. What does perpetual assets do, and why is it so important right now?
Well, thank you. We structure a type of self-directed IRA retirement account that is the most open in the industry. It allows the individual to completely control the account, the assets, and invest in any asset class imaginable. So people are using it for cryptos, people are using it for metals, people are using it for real estate, stocks and bonds, not as much, private equity. You can go anywhere. So it, most importantly though, it puts the client in the position in the driver's seat where you can direct. I mean, you're not, you can buy the assets and you can store them just about anywhere. Now, with metals, caveat with metals, home storage is a no-no. You know, people say, Bix always says in your possession, it's got to be in your possession. I say, I know, but you know, we don't have our IRA metal at home. None of us do, because it's a no-no. If you got audited, that would be a slap on the wrist, a distribution, whatever. But we'll get with clients, we'll look for stuff in their area. Generally the best, find a private third-party mom and pop storage. They even have self-storage facilities now for valuables, like high security. So yeah, it's still a third party, but the only person who can get into your vault. And I tell folks, look, if the ATMs seize up, if you know whatever your red flag is, like, oh crap, things are really heating up, drive over to the place, pick your metal up, bring it home, and then deal with the tax ramifications next year. I mean, if you think things are going to get that bad, who's to say there is going to be a tax ramification? If the whole system's falling apart, and I would say this in front of a judge, if it looks like the dollar's going to hyperinflate tomorrow or next week, I'm going to drive my happy butt over to the depository or vault, pick up my silver that's in my IRA and bring it home. Period. You know, deal with that next year. So that's the long-winded version of what we do. We help people get their assets out of the system. We've worked with everything from annuities and 401ks and 403bs and IRAs, and yada, all the stuff. So
On the my favorite thing about the self-directed IRA is that you can trade cryptos in your retirement fund, and the tax is deferred. It's part of your it's a normal IRA. The tax is deferred until you take distribution when you retire. That's for me, that's the biggest thing for this structure, as well as what you just talked about. But we all know that the government loves to go after people with money. The other big thing is it does give you the ability to control your assets. I'm not saying don't tell the government, but like you said, if the system falls apart and the government is no longer functional, which we've seen happen in the past. I mean, the Weimar Republic, everyone loves to go to that one, but you can go to Argentina, you can go anywhere and say, oh my God, what did the people with their, IRAs, what happened to that stuff? The government went after it. And they can go after you very easily. I think we are headed to a point where government and banks will become non-issues. They are so corrupt and so teetering on the brink right now. We've got all the CEOs of the major banks testifying in front of Maxine Waters of all people about the inclusivity of banking and why the banks are so rich and all that stuff. It's all happening. We just got to front run the spread of socialism, the spread of they're going to go after our shit. There's no doubt in my mind. Get it in your own possession, and it's easier for you to fight the fight against them if you control the asset.
Yep.
So That's the first thing I want to talk about. And if people want more information, what do they do? Who do they call? How do they contact you guys?
Yeah, perpetualassets.com is the website. Phone numbers up there, emails up there, contact us deal is up there. Call us anytime. We on the metals and the cryptos orders, we specialize on the larger size trades. So for smaller silver purchases, I'd say go see our friends at Miles Franklin. But we deal with the typically larger trades. But call us, email, phone numbers 888-281-2630. You can get right in touch with me, my business partner Gus, our associate Ian, who's our in-house attorney. We've been doing this a long time. We've seen everything. I've helped people invest in just about everything imaginable, including guns and ammo. We've seen all kinds of stuff. So give us a shout. We can talk through things. We can see if we can help you, whatever. Yeah.
Excellent. Where do you think the economy is heading in this September to remember, Mr. Willair? Is everything going just smooth and fine, or are we looking at some kind of collapse coming up?
Hunky dory, man. You didn't see the green shoots on the way in?
I saw them. I keep hearing people say that, the economy's strong and the people don't have much debt. I'm like, what world do these people live in? The United States of America is the largest debtor nation in the world. So we are the ones who benefit the most if the system falls apart and fiat money goes away. I just want everybody to remember that, and we control the system. So we've hit that point where everybody sees through the fraud of market manipulation, of the debt financing of everything, but they kind of stop and don't think, hey, the U.S. can pull the plug on this thing anytime they want. Yeah. And I think we've been holding back that plug pulling operation since the invention of the Fed. I think we're weeks, maybe a few months away from some serious pain to be felt, as in the destruction of the old system. What's your take on timeframes? When is this thing really going to start falling apart? And then can we put it back together, or do we want to put it back together?
Well, loaded question there. You said it greatly well this weekend when I was with you. My wife, and I love her, she's not as down the rabbit hole as we are, but she gets plenty of it from that we exude out of us, that she overhears on a daily basis. But she said, what did she say? You guys were all talking about this event, and the monetary collapse. We were talking about the dollar and the shift away from the dollar and the CBDC and whatever. And she's like, but it can't all happen. What did she say? Something like, it can't all happen so fast. It's going to happen so fast. Yeah. And you're like, this has been happening for 20 years. I've been documenting it.
But the end's very fast. It's like, oh my God, what was that? It was Fletch when he's talking about his he made up that he knew this guy who actually died. He says, it went fast. He goes, what do you mean? He was dying for 10 years. Yeah, but the very end was fast. I think we are at that point where the very end is going to be fast. And I see the very end as in weeks and months, not years and decades. Even though, this has been going on since 1913 at least. That's 110 years. No, this isn't happening fast. This is This is taking a hell of a long time. We're just at the end.
Yeah. Well, and the way you said it too was almost like, now you see why it's taken them so long, or why it's taken us so long, or why it's taken humanity so long for this to happen. We're definitely closer than we are further. I mean, the last decade, it's felt very ominous, but then, back to your question and how this is all going to unravel. I mean, we get these questions all the time from people. We talk to a lot of people every day, right? I'm putting my money here. I'm putting my money there. I'm getting my money out of there. How's this going? Is this too much money to keep in the bank? Is that, this and that? And we all have to keep money in the bank, right? For whatever reason. What's going to happen to that? Most like short term, I think so much of this depends on who is in control. And I think right now we've got different power structures pulling in different directions. And I think the the people, the banksters who want to roll out a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, we've talked about this for years. For years, we've said it'll be called Fed coin or dollar coin or something, and it'll be the replacement for the US dollar, right? So that $10,000 you have in your bank account, that'll just most likely transition right over into this central bank digital coin. And hey, no worries, Mr. Smith, you didn't lose your $10,000. Now you have 10,000 Fed coins, and they'll try to transition that, right? That's what the banksters are going to try to do.
Of course, the problem, I mean, besides that's the worst thing could ever happen for freedom, but the big problem is it doesn't fix anything. All it does is take one form of crashing, destructive money and replace it with another form of crashing, destructive money. If you introduce a CBDC without limited supply, without an immutable blockchain, without open source software, all the good things that we love about Bitcoin, it's just what they have right now, except they can turn you
traceable.
Off. They can turn you off. That's why, as an American, it is so abhorrent for this concept of a CBDC to be contemplated. And I found it interesting that Neil Kashkari, one of the deep state banker guys who they brought in for the TARP and all that, is now I think the Minneapolis Fed guy. He was asked about the CBDC. He's like, that's probably the worst thing that the Fed could do, because I mean, they might do that in China. We're in a nation of free people. We don't want to be tracked. And everyone's like, is this a Fed, one of the Fed board members saying this? I mean, if the Fed is saying it, and I believe that ultimately behind the scenes, there are good people within the Fed who are looking to go back to a gold and silver standard. Mm-hmm. But if that is the stance of the Fed, which I think it will be about CBDC, I think that's a wonderful thing. That's a sign of freedom, if you ask me.
I agree with you. I think we're going to see, and sooner than later. I mean, the Vatican, what's the deal with the Vatican calling back all of its assets by the end of the September 30th? That's the equivalent of a hyperinflation, I think. I mean, if you, it's the calling in of all the assets. So, but I don't think we're going to see I think we're going to see all this stuff happen at once, and you'll see disclosure, and then you'll see, the good element of humanity saying nope. And you covered this extensively on the switch back to a gold and silver standard, where there's potentially a lot of silver that'll be reallocated. I have a feeling that's going to come to light right as the whole transition pops into play. We're going to see all these fireworks go off at once, probably some large disclosures. The bad guys aren't going to win and be successful, but that's what they're going to attempt to do, and roll this thing right over roll all that debt right onto a digital currency that they control. But I think we will win, decentralization will win. We will, eventually have some type of an exchange after this that involves precious metals and likely cryptos. And
it would be an exchange of actual assets and not a derivative exchange, which is what we have now. There's no exchange on the planet for silver. The only exchange is the COMEX, which sets the price, which is a derivative market with a delivery function. The LBMA is an association. It's not even an exchange. You and I can't trade on the LBMA, and there is no other silver exchange on the planet to determine price. The Shanghai exchange is a derivative without the delivery component. So that's the thing I want everybody to understand, is when this happens, it is complete destruction, because there will be no place on the planet that can survive a $2 quadrillion derivative meltdown that is going on right now. As a matter of fact, Germany just bailed out a gas company for $8 billion, and they're going to need to bail out the entire gas industry. Is that going to happen? Is it not going to happen? If you look at the crypto viewing guys, when they did the death of the dollar, they showed Congress coming out of session, said it's over, and like guys in suits puking in the hallway of Congress. And I do think we're coming to that point. Do not delay. So if there's anything, this is the public part. Do not delay. Will and I are going to go off and talk about conspiracy stuff now on the private road, but do not delay. get your physical silver in your own possession now, get your cryptos in your own possession. If try to pick the right ones. I'm a big Theta fan. You guys know that. But also I think make sure that your ducks are all lined up as far as your prepper stuff and all that. Will, let's tell people again how to get in touch with you to deal with their IRA type stuff.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, perpetualassets.com and phone number 888-281-2630. Call us, text us, email us, whatever, anytime. We love talking through scenarios with folks and seeing if we can help. So thanks for that.
And I want to thank you. I mean, we've been working together for years. I want to thank you for getting so many people on the road to Ruta out of the system, getting their assets in their own possession so that they can have a better chance of surviving what's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Will there, perpetualassets.com. Give him a call.
Thanks.